Hi, this is Charles Kelly. How you doing today? Well, today I've entitled my blog today that Hong Kong BNO passport holders are snapping up UK properties. There's anecdotal evidence that Hong Kong buyers are coming over here and investing in British property all over the country, particularly in England, where the markets tend to be hotter, and I've spoken to people. Now, this is not you're not going to find this in the statistics yet, but it's evidence that I found by talking to agents, to property investors and dealers, that definitely there's an interest from overseas buyers for British property. They still see this as a safe haven for their money, and of course with Hong Kong residents they've got the added benefit that they might be settling here in the UK using their BNO British overseas passports and British national overseas passports that they hold, following these changes to the law in China, which is, as we know, taken away part of their freedoms and rights. And we've seen this on the news. We've seen all these riots in the streets, haven't we? And I think there's a real chance that a lot of Hong Kong people will come to the UK and settle here. And this is probably why they're coming here to invest already. Now, we've obviously had a long history with Hong Kong. It was a colony and it was given up in 1997, handed over by Chris Patten. And at that time, Hong Kong residents were given these BNO passports, which were considered to be slightly second class passports because they did not give them full rights to come here. Now, I believe that was a mistake because many of those wealthy people went to Vancouver and Australia and other countries where they were welcomed with open arms, and they've taken their money there. But now Britain's had a different view, and they're now offering. There are around about 350,000 UK passport holders and 2.6 million people potentially eligible to get these BNO passports, and Boris Johnson has promised to change the law to make these passports more friendly and a passport that would allow them to come here and settle for 5 years, after which they could apply for indefinite leave to remain and then eventually citizenship. So it will give them a chance to just come here and settle, basically. This is in stark contrast to the way other refugees have been treated by all countries, really, because other countries like Australia and Canada said, yes, you can come here, we'll give you, bring your money here. Everybody wants these Hong Kong residents, and why not? Hong Kong residents are highly educated, they're entrepreneurial, they enjoy some of the the highest standards of living in the world right now. So they're going to want to go somewhere that's safe, that gives them the freedoms, that gives them education for their children and healthcare and these sorts of things, and where they see that it's a good bet, long-term bet for the future if they invest their money here, right? So, obviously at the moment there is still a housing shortage in the UK, particularly in England and the southeast of England, where, as I said, the market's hot. And they say that they need to build around 200,000 homes a year just to cope with the current demand, let alone immigration and birth rates and people living longer, etc. Now, despite the coronavirus, property prices are going through a bit of a mini boom. We've had the Chancellor's stamp duty holiday up until March next year, which could be extended, we don't know, and also we've had pent-up demand during the lockdown, and also a bit of a shortage of people putting their properties on the market. Now this has created a bit of a mini boom. Prices have gone up, and I've spoken to agents in various areas, and they said, prices in some areas may have come down, but they're not going down around here. The price you see today is what it was 6 months ago. So and we've got low interest rates, of course, but I think lenders are not so keen to lend at the moment, but there's still people moving, still people buying and selling properties, and prices are actually going up, as I said, in many parts of the country, not all parts. We may see a change in the way we live in properties. We may see more of an exit to the suburbs, to more rural areas where people have a better quality of life. it's safer there. There's less chance of catching viruses than in the cities where there's a higher density of people. And most of the coronavirus outbreaks have been in places where there is high density areas in cities, right? You don't, I mean, Scotland keeps saying, oh, we're doing so well, but Scotland's not the same as London, is it? It's not the same as London or Birmingham or Manchester, where there's millions of people living together. There's more people, I'd say there's probably nearly as many people in Birmingham and Manchester as there is in the whole of Scotland. There's certainly far more people in Greater London than there is in Scotland and Northern Ireland. So this is where, you know, if you go to a city centre, you see people milling about. The shops are busy. The buses and trains are full. You know, you can't get away from people. You can't really socially distance very easily. But if you come out a bit, it's very different. And that's what, you know, people might start to do, particularly with the technology that's been brought forward since the lockdown, with more and more people working from home, with more and more people being told that they may never come back to their office. I mean, in America, you've got companies like Twitter and Facebook saying, you know, stay home and work from home indefinitely. Now, as you know, necessity is the mother of all invention. And what we've seen is this necessity to get set up from home office basis and get people working from home and using Zoom and this sort of thing. It's always been around for many years. We've only just started to use it recently, haven't we? So we might see a bit of a migration of people moving out of the city centres, moving to areas where they can enjoy life but don't have to do that daily commute, which is why they were living in the city in the first place. So that's what I think certainly is happening in American cities, and we might see it happening here. We shall have to see. As I said, despite all the unemployment around as well, you know, people on furlough that may lose their job when it comes to October, and I think that is when things will start heading south. You know, we've got all these problems and jobs disappearing that may never come back. And yet, despite this, property prices are going up. Share prices remain high. But I think that will change. I really do think that can't last, particularly when the job furlough scheme comes to an end and maybe more employers will just say, well, we're going to let you go. And then I can't see how the market can continue to boom when people are not working and not earning enough money to buy properties. So next year we could see a bit of a downturn for a year or two, and then we'll have to see when property tends to always bounce back. So if you are investing in property, you know, have more than one reason to invest in it. If you're buying a property, you say, well, I'm going to convert this house into 2 flats. Well, you want to make sure that if you can't sell those flats next year, that you know you can rent them out quite easily and cover your loan costs, because people are going to get caught with their pants down with expensive bridging loans and high cost lending when you know that they can't do anything with those properties. Another area of interest could be office to residential conversions and shops to residential conversions. We've already seen the Prime Minister talking about changes to the planning law to make it easier to convert shops to flats. There's already, as you know, there's already permitted development from converting offices to residentials. This could be extended, but there could be more restrictions on the type of properties that you could build and the quality of the flats that you're going to offer people. I think one potential drawback for Hong Kong residents moving to the UK is Brexit. Will it affect their decision because we're coming out of the EU? And will they say, well, we want to live in a country that has full access to the whole of the EU? I don't know. I don't particularly think so. But if only 10% of the 3 million eligible Hong Kong residents decide to move to the UK and live in the UK, you know, that's 300,000 people that could be moving here soon, coming to a town near you and looking to buy properties or rent properties. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. That could fuel another boom in itself if so many people are coming here to buy properties and they've got money, they've got cash to invest. Certainly we've seen it so far. So it remains to be seen how many people will actually come here. Maybe some might decide to sit it out in Hong Kong and just stay there. Who knows? You know, there are other countries which offer a guaranteed route to citizenship in the European Union. One of them is Cyprus. I'm putting some details about their sort of golden visa program where, you know, you can buy a property and virtually buy a passport if you buy a property in Cyprus. And, you know, many people from various countries might decide to do that because They don't have to live in Cyprus. They can just buy a property there, go through this golden visa program, and eventually they'll get that red passport, which can enable them to live anywhere in the EU. And this could be of interest to wealthier investors. Obviously, you need a bit of money to invest. They're not going to take you if you just say, well, I just want to rent that little flat by the beach, give me a passport, or I'm going to buy that rundown property for 30,000 euros, give us a passport. No, they want you to invest in new build substantial properties. They're doing it for a reason. They're doing it to boost their economy in return for a European passport, or an effective European passport. So I don't know how that's going to affect buyers. I think more people will still come here than will go to a country like Cyprus, but that option is there. That option is open. So we will see. So what else is happening in the economy? Well, I'm noticing that prices have gone up. And I heard that in America, prices have reached a 50-year high. Prices of food compared to incomes have reached a 50-year high. Certainly here, prices of food have gone up. Prices of just basic stuff that you just think go and buy cheaply don't seem cheap anymore. I just went into a shop to buy a bicycle pump the other day. Sold out. Nearly all the bikes have been sold out. Garden furniture suddenly gone up in price. There's garden furniture advertised for £10,000. Garden furniture. You can't buy that cheap stuff that you could buy at the garage anymore. It's all gone. I wanted some for a house that I've got tenants in. I thought I'll buy a little garden set. I didn't expect to pay more than about 30, 40, 50 pounds, but it's like hundreds of pounds you've got to pay for these things. So a lot of the cheap stuff that we were used to, maybe stuff is not coming in from China so much, I don't know, but certainly a lot of the just little things that you think, well, that's gone up in price. Why is that not? I went to buy a headset for my phone. I've lost it. Sold out. What's going on? Are we getting less products coming in? Are the prices going up? I don't know, but that certainly seems to be happening in the economy. Is that going to lead to inflation? I don't know. We shall have to. It's just a little thing that I've noticed happening, but certainly prices of basic things, items in the shop have gone up. So your weekly food bill has gone up. There are less offers around. There are less, things that you could just go into Poundland and think, well, I'll buy some of that and buy. There are less of that around. It just seems Poundland has become £2 in many cases now. Not everything is a pound, as they used to say. But property, once again, property is going to be around. It's there, isn't it? It's around forever. People will always need somewhere to live. And as long as the UK economy remains strong, which I think it will in the long run, then this will still be a good place to invest. If you're interested in knowing how to invest in property, you'd like more information, drop me a line here on Facebook, on Messenger, LinkedIn, or charles@charleskelly.net. I'll put a link up there. There are many courses, webinars, seminars that you can attend to learn about property. Don't just go out and buy stuff because it's, you think, I'll go and buy to let. I don't think it's a good time for that sort of investment, but there are many ways you can invest without using your own money. You can use all sorts of strategies to make money in property without just buying a buy-to-let and using your own money. So if you're interested in that, just let me know, and I will speak to you again soon. Thanks for listening. Thanks for everyone on Facebook Live and on my podcast, Money Tips Daily, on iTunes, Stitcher, and great to speak to you all again. Thanks a lot. This is Charles Kelly bringing you money tips to help you save, earn, invest, accumulate, and enjoy more money. Have a great day.